The Riverside ranks are divided. Are you Carrick in or are you Carrick out? How many more games does Michael get to turn this around? We're asking Will and reviewing all the social media tweets from that defeat to Bristol City, and also asking who's the dirtiest Boro player of all time. Welcome to our Boro Walk. Yes, it's 20 minutes of Boro chat, and we've got Will back with us. How are you, Will? Did you just calm down now from the weekend's result, have you?
Yeah, attention's turned to Wednesday, Sheffield United, and it's not the easiest team to come when we're currently in the run of form we're in.
Yeah, we are recording this before that Sheffield game, so we won't know the result of that. And of course, we've got Norwich to come at the weekend as well. But let's cast our minds back to that Bristol City result. Twitter exploded on Saturday night with he's only got 2 more games. People are saying this week or he's gone. Will, where are you at?
It's difficult, it's not Michael's job to put the ball in the back of the net. He's making the team make chances, and the goals we're conceding are just individual errors. Defenders giving the ball away, or midfielder making a loose pass. Um, there's not much Sonny Dieng can do in goal, so I think I think the questions are always asked of the players. But with the results coming in now, we're only 3 points better off than we were last season. Um, and this was supposed to be the season of progress and development. So yeah, I think questions do need to be asked, but I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence. I'm not quite sure yet.
How much goodwill do you think he's got from the owners left in the tank? There was that good season one, the playoff season, two years ago. You'd like to think that he's got enough to get through this. It's not even a sticky period, but the performances have been amazing, but up front you just can't score. How's he fix it?
It's ever since that Latte Lath incident with Ipswich, he's been really, really cold and some might say a bit disinterested in playing. I think I think Carrick will be backed by Gibson and the hierarchy. I think that he's shown that he can bring an attacking style football to the club and excite fans. But if we're thinking back to the promotion, sort of the playoff season, that's now 2 years ago, really, year and a half, 2 years ago. Um, and since then, he's been backed. He's been given some of the players that he's wanted, and he's been allowed to play the style of play that he wants. But I fear that another season like last year and how so far this season's going, pretty average. A few good results here, but then some dropping points at home and dropping points against teams that we shouldn't be. I think if Gibbo is serious about properly getting this team into the Premier League, I think he does need to. He's got a decision to be made.
Absolutely, and that's exactly what social media was mostly saying. If we have a look at some of them, Will, Steve says it's the same old excuses. We have to learn and do better. It's poor, and I mean really poor. There's no desire, there's no passion, there's no aggression, and Hackney. And bearing in mind that we raved about him a couple of weeks ago on here, was a joke today. Blah blah blah. He needs to go, I'm afraid. Albeit his honesty was shown there in the interview. Tina says if he can't get something out of the current squad we've got, it's time for him to walk. It's the same old setup, same old problems, no plan B, same excuses, same match post-match interview. It's so boring. What about this no passion, no aggression? Is that fair? Is that what you're seeing?
I think what I said about Latte Lath a minute ago about looking a bit disinterested, I think that would be fair to say about some of the other players. You want your team to be going out every week and showing passion for the fans and showing that you want to be there and want to be playing and actually care about really getting a result. I think what we've seen is maybe being 1 goal down and then just not much going on after that. I think there's not been enough. What's the word? It's not been quick enough. It's not been energetic enough. It's not been sort of. There's no urgency. That's the one. To get the ball back on the pitch and get the ball forward and fill the box and get something back in games. So I think passion. isn't the right word. I wouldn't say there's no passion, but there is something missing. There is a little bit of right, let's go, come on, something missing. And I think that starts with Carrick.
Yeah, I mean, I go back to that Sunderland game. I know it's a derby, so you have to look at the window. But for me, that was a strange Middlesbrough performance, and it was lacking that bite, that
Mm.
tenacity, like that aggression, as so many people say. If you look back to the derby game, yes, you played well and had so many chances, but again, just that character, and there just doesn't
Yeah.
seem. Do you think there's a problem with leadership on the pitch?
That comes down to Johnny Howson not being in the side. I'm not sure if he's been in the team at all this season, maybe once, but yeah, I mean, I said to someone earlier, we are missing him. He is Captain Fantastic. He really gives the team something. He makes the team tick. Um, and with the question about the nastiest player in Borough, I was thinking around now, and I just couldn't think of anyone. Off the top of my head, no one came to my mind. So maybe that is something we're missing. Maybe we are missing someone who wants to just, get a bit of an advantage by getting one over his man or putting a foot in. Um, but yeah, I think we are missing Johnny, and I'm not 100% convinced that Ailing is the right captain for this team.
Yeah, if you echo that, let's have a look at a few more. Mark says we were completely outfought and played by a team that just did the basics right. We are just on eat, sleep, repeat, doing the same thing over again. It's a sign of madness. And Lewis says all the credit in the bank for the playoff season is now gone. We wrote last season off as a development season, but now we are seeing the same problems as last. That was horrendous today. The subs should have been made at half time, and here we are again, Will, with substitution
Yeah.
conversations. This is why people are getting frustrated because they can see it. That needed changing at half time. It didn't happen until I think 65, 70 minutes in. He's got to take the flak for that, hasn't he?
Oh, he absolutely does. Yeah. Um, I'd like to see him come out after the game and explain why Riley McGree wasn't starting, why Marcus Forss is only allowed 5 minutes at the end of the game. It was obvious something needed to change up top. Doak wasn't having the best of games that he's had so far. Hamilton wasn't either. Something needed to switch on that left or the right, or even Conway up top for Latte Lath. So yeah, definitely something that he needs to work on. But he's had so many chances now. He's had so many. There's been so many times where there's been games where right we need to change something and we can go a bit quicker here or we can get a bit better. But yeah, it's very frustrating.
When you did have that great season, Archer and Akpom were just completely unplayable, weren't they? So many of the reasons why you did so well, but we're not getting that from Azaz and Lath, are we?
Mm.
They're too easy to play against, especially. I mean, Azaz looks like he's lost all kinds of confidence from his amazing days at Plymouth. Um, all right, then this week then is a big challenge. Sheffield United are the visitors this midweek. How do you see that one going?
Well, them coming off the back of a loss at Ellen Road and us coming off the back of a loss at Bristol City, I think it could be a typical Borough performance to go out and win 3-0. I really wouldn't put it past them. It's got to the point now where we're winning, we no beating West Brom away, and then going and losing at Watford when we shouldn't, and losing the other day against Bristol City. It's so unpredictable, and it's not a good thing at the moment.
Mm,
I think that being at home, the fans might start getting a bit rowdy, a bit what's going on here. So I think the team will put out a decent performance, and I do think Carrick will make some changes to the starting 11, maybe Azaz out or Latte Lath.
okay.
Um,
Um,
I'd say two.
Two. Okay. Um, Chris Wilder's returning, of course, to the Riverside. I'm sure he'll get a decent reception. How did you view his time, as short as it was with you?
Well, he came in and changed the tactics we used. He went to the five back like he's known for doing, and that was good. We had a little trio of Dijksteel, Isaiah Jones, and Matt Crooks, and that always worked really well. I think his first season we finished just outside the playoffs in seventh. So from taking us down in 19th, 20th to there was obviously an improvement. But the following season, we didn't start quickly, and there were links with him, rumors with him to Burnley. He didn't play that well. and ultimately got the sack a couple of weeks later. So I wouldn't say Borough fans are too salty with how they went, but yeah, it didn't go very well.
Okay. And then a trip to Norwich, which we're looking forward to. I think it's going to be a good game. Would you a good game on a Sky Sunday yet? We haven't had one for a while. Norwich and Borough, I think, is the billings to be a classic. Do you see this one going your way? They haven't lost at home since last November or something crazy like that.
I think on our last two trips to Carrow Road, we have beaten them, I believe. So I think we've performed quite well there. Carrick's done his business in Norwich. They're doing relatively well, aren't they, at the moment? Borough aren't, but we are still ninth. We're still only a couple of points off the playoffs. And I believe we're a good team, but we just need to start scoring some goals and getting in front in games, which we haven't done enough.
Okay. All right then. Before we let you go, we are going to try and push you to think of a nasty player that you've watched in your relatively short time watching the Borough that you are glad played for you and not for other sides. Can you, in respect of Halloween, can you think of a proper ghoulish player?
I think a player that was very good and very impressive in his time, but also I'm glad he wasn't on the other team was Mo Besic. Um, he was a player that loved to tackle, absolutely loved to tackle, but he was also great on the ball. But yeah, I think he was known for a couple of yellow cards here and there. Yeah, he was a good player, but he had a bit of nastiness in him.
Yeah, just a little bit. You can say that again. All right, can you beat that, Borough fans? Drop us a comment below if you can think of a player that was nastier than the one we've got from Will. And we'll see you, of course, next week. Thank you so much for watching. Listen to us on Spotify, or you can download it on Apple Music or whatever you stream your regular podcasts from. 20 minutes of Borough chat every single week. Sean and others will be back next week to review both, of course, the Sheffield United game and the Norwich City game. Thank you very much, Will, for doing solo job this week. We'll see you all next week.